Lord Scuhbaduh, Saxon Lord or Saxon Fraud. The film you are about to see is the result of months of painstaking work by one of our top investigative journalists. We contacted the elusive Lord Scuhbaduh under the guise of making a documentary. Little did he know that his dirty secrets were the real aim. However, all of this would not have been possible were it not for a brave whistleblower that came forward. Throughout the film, he will be helping us to untangle the web of deceit that Lord Scuhbaduh has weaved. At first it was just simple stuff. Bend the truth a little bit, put money in the right hands, but as it got worse, I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm sorry. I'll be alright in a minute, I promise. Jesus. So prepare yourselves for a journey of lies and ineptitude as we ask the question, who is Lord Scuhbaduh?
You're going to donate some money? Donate some money.
Scuhbaduh.
Yes, if you get it in the car, you get it all back, and you become the richest lord in the place. Yeah?
Okay.
Now, Lord Scuhbaduh was notoriously tight with money. I didn't actually receive any payment until I threatened to stop helping him.
I can't do it. No Scuhbaduh.
I have made it to the chambers owned and occupied by Lord Scuhbaduh himself. It is in this room that Lord Scuhbaduh would spend few Scuhbaduhs that he was willing to part with to keep the fire going to stay warm in winter.
It's cold, but it's economic.
This is the famous banqueting hall where Lord Scuhbaduh used to host legendary parties with all of his friends.
You enjoyed the food? It was very cheap.
I was never quite sure whether he was actually a rich man or he just pretended. He claimed to have a cave full of Scuhbaduh, whatever that means, but I never saw any of it.
Here we are in a vast cave underneath the castle grounds. It was within this cave that Lord Scuhbaduh used to keep his vast amount of Scuhbaduhs hidden from the public eye. He's not here at the moment because he's at the cafe having a frappe.
You know, he was so cheap, he never got any food for me. Oh no, while I was struggling, he'd happily get stuff for himself. Greedy toe rag.
We have found Lord Scuhbaduh, who has got his frappe. How is it?
It wasn't all bad though. Take his digestion. I think it was the perfect example of karma.
This is the entrance to the castle's latrine, where Lord Scuhbaduh can be found for most hours of the day. So let's have a look inside and see what we find.
I struggle to pass meat. Scuhbaduh.
So, was he selfish all the time? He mainly was, but he had his good moments, like any human being. I remember the one time when he sang for Henry VII.
It is in this room, in 1457, that King Henry VII was born, and to make him happy, Lord Scuhbaduh would sing him lovely lullabies.
Bloody music stopped.
Of course, with zero musical talent, these tunes were almost incomprehensible and sounded horrific. In this room is very interesting indeed. It is the entertainment room. And joining me is historian Joe Savage, who is going to talk to us about what this room was specifically used for.
Hello. So as you can see on this screen here, we have a very medieval device called the projector. This was built by Henry VII in this very castle to watch Friends on Netflix. Unfortunately, it will be a few hundred years before Friends would even exist.
Move out of the way!
But
Trying to watch the film.
There was that occasion where he tried to woo a woman to be his wife. I think that was just for appearances though. He always said that women were a bad financial investment. Cost too many Scuhbaduh in the long run.
It is here in this tower without floors that Lord Scuhbaduh uses the incredible acoustics to try and attract a lady.
Scuhbaduh. 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 Scuhbaduh.
The strangest thing though was the Earl of Somewhere. Now, getting the rest of the castle on side required a bit of careful pressure in the right place. But the Earl, he just didn't care. I mean, he didn't really react at all. God, that man was inept.
I've been given a very special opportunity to actually talk with one of the resident knights. This is the Earl of Somewhere. Could you tell us, please, what is it like to live in such a wonderful place? Could I see what's inside this pouch? Thank you for your time. We have come to the part of the castle known as the garderobe, better known as Lord Scuhbaduh's dressing room. So let's have a little look inside.
Has anybody seen my coif?
Okay, let's go.
Inept.
Now, Lord Scuhbaduh kept the Earl of Somewhere close by at all times, and I found that a bit suspicious. But when I dug in deeper and I found the truth, it just beggared belief. It was then that I knew I had to do something about it.
New evidence has come to light that Lord Scuhbaduh is a fraud. He claims to own this vast kingdom, but in fact he doesn't, and we're catching him in the act now.
Anyway, I'd like to thank you for letting me pretend this is my castle today.
Lord Scuhbaduh, can I have a word? It's recently come to light that you have been claiming that you own this castle, but in fact it's not true.
I own this castle.
In fact, we heard the last place that you actually lived in is that turret over there covered in moss, of which you were evicted from due to tax evasion.
But it is completely a fabrication.
No, well, we actually have the deeds to the person that owns this castle, who is Welsh, and we've been looking through your history and found that you're not even Welsh at all.
No comment. No comment.
I couldn't believe it. He wasn't actually Welsh. Had to rub salt in the wound, he was bleeding French as well. Bastard. Luckily, the authorities caught up with him quickly.
After the controversy of the Lord Scuhbaduh scandal, we have actually found that he's being deported back to his homeland of France.
After that, I ended up back in France. Took me bloody ages to recover from that.
Don't you mean that Lord Scuhbaduh ended up back in France?
Yeah, of course, I meant Lord Scuhbaduh.
Is that a coif underneath your hat?
Scuhbaduh.
Highest points of the towers at this castle, you can see across the fields and down on the road where once Lord Scuhbaduh received a parking ticket.
I refuse to give them a penny.
You were double parked. Here we have a depiction of a medieval banquet that Lord Scuhbaduh and his unnamed friend were not invited to.
It's alright.
I think you're too good for us, Look at all of you with your bits. I hope you get gout.
Of course, later on, Lord Scuhbaduh was executed for his bad language.
I don't care.
Here we have a wonderful scene of Lord Scuhbaduh counting his precious Scuhbaduhs, ready to pay his unnamed friend.
1 Scuhbaduh. 5 Scuhbaduh. 2 Scuhbaduh. 11 Scuhbaduh. 52 Scuhbaduh. We have a grand total of 7 Scuhbaduh.
Of course, the actual amount that Scuhbaduh is worth is open to skepticism.
What is it? Scuhbaduh.
Inept. Deep in the dungeons of this castle, we can discover mysteries unraveled and not been seen by modern man. Stop it.
And that brings us to the end of our programme. Next week, we will be talking to a man from Smithick who just wanted a simple holiday in Wales, but got a lot more than he bargained for. The effect it had on him was utterly profound.
Oh, it's been alright.
You see, he has become totally inept.
Who you talking to?
I'm going to leave.
Oh, you're right, mate.